Hello there. And welcome. Being held against his will. I can't even make it 10 seconds into the show without something going like this. Okay, fine. But am I being held against my will? Well, that's for you to determine, ladies and gentlemen, because I am Todd Black, the host of Comically Accurate. And, of course, with me is Dave.
Hi there.
The It Guy.
The It Guy.
Whose graphic is not showing up because that's why, because he's setting up the Todd Black Ransom GoFundMe page. Really, Dave?
I'm the sole beneficiary.
Really?
I'm the sole beneficiary.
Wow. So I'm being held against my will because of a ransom page.
If you wish to see Todd Black again, pay Dave Norbot.
You're not going to get a lot of money.
$1 million.
You're not going to get a lot of money. I'm sorry.
I'll take $1.50.
That's how today's going to go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how today's going to go. Okay, fine. So, as that graphic showed, not the name graphics, the other graphic, we are continuing our debate of Marvel versus DC because as fun as last week was, and it was a lot of fun, we didn't really get to talk about everything. Surprise.
Yes.
But
I do have a confession to make.
Go ahead.
I never actually read the Absolute line before last week. So this weekend I got my hands on some copies, and I'm working through Superman right now. I wasn't a real fan of Absolute Batman.
Such scandalous statements just to start our show, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be fun.
I like where Superman's going. I had a issue with Batman.
You had an issue with Batman?
I had an issue with Batman.
An issue with Batman. Okay, that's fine. This is why we're here. It's all about opinions and everything. So, and
it's all personal opinion.
It's all personal opinions, even though his opinion is wrong. But actually, it's interesting that you mentioned Absolute Batman because literally the morning that we're recording this, they dropped a huge announcement over. It was like some kind of animation fest.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly never heard of this place before. I really hadn't. But my internet was blowing up because they announced an Absolute Batman animated series. Like that's how popular this thing is right now. Is that they have already created, not even 2 years into its run, because it's on issue 22. Yeah, 22. Yeah, 22 just came out a few weeks ago, and they're already doing an animated series, which usually is a bad thing because if Marvel and DC are terrible at one thing, it's rushing into certain things without having a plan. If you know, you know. But with this one, I have hope because as part of the announcement, they revealed that the actual creative team, Nick Magnotta, something like that, and the Scott Snyder himself are the showrunners of this production, which means that they're going to do everything they can to make it look and feel it just like the comic, and that gives me hope.
Yes.
So
it gives me hope too, because again, I didn't like what I was seeing, and it could be one of my pet peeves about comics is that a bad art will ruin a good story.
You don't like the art?
I maybe that was it. I didn't like the art.
Maybe.
But an example of this, and I know I'm going to get flack for it, is Supergirl World of Tomorrow. I love Tom King's work, and I love the story, but I did not like the art on that one particular story.
No. Well,
so it's sort of ruined it for me.
To show that you are not alone, we've talked before on multiple podcasts about Absolute Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, it just got its latest issue last night. And I enjoyed it. But in both the early arcs and this new arc that they just started, I was about 50-50 on the art. It wasn't bad. It was just not my, not forte, preference.
Preference.
That's a good word. I am a writer, I promise. But I had to adapt to it. And later on, I felt it got better.
Okay.
But that... One of the biggest things about Marvel and DC is that I will look at a comic art-wise.
Yes.
And I'll go, they approved this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that so many times where I look at a comic and I'm like,
yeah,
my son can draw better than this. And
I literally pay artists who I feel could do better than this. And I know that sounds pretentious, like, oh, you guys know better artists? It's like, remember, it's all preference. It's all what vibes with you. Not unlike animation in general, you can look at a certain series and go, oh, that's beautifully styled. And then another person will go, I mean, it's all right, you know? But trust me, we would love to wave magic wands and, create the best art style because
I gave Todd more buttons.
you did. I am so happy. I have more buttons to press. We will use as many of them as possible. But no, going back to the Absolute Batman comic and series, I am intrigued by this.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern, and there's still very scant details about this, but I'm very intrigued by how they're going to do episode count. Because if I'm going to guess, they're going to follow the more recent trends, which is like 10 episodes or less, especially because there's only 22-ish issues. So, and we don't know how far in development it is. We had the most basic logo reveal for the announcement. There's no character drawings, no trailer, no nothing. It was just saying, hey, Absolute Batman is coming. So, okay. Also, there's a Joker series, which, sure. And a Crypto series, which is unnecessary.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
because
not.
there's already been a Crypto series, Crypto the Superdog, and that was a freaking masterpiece, including having one of the best theme songs ever.
Yes.
And yet you want to try and replicate that because some people like the DCU version of Crypto. Shame! Don't you dare. That is not that at all. All right? I know what is a good Crypto series, doggone it.
He was working that one.
Yeah, I was like, the moment you press that, where's that button? Where is that button though?
The red button.
Oh, that's the red. Right. Sorry.
In case you're wondering,
We have buttons.
we have buttons that show all the fun stuff. So.
Yeah. And throughout this series, I have no doubt we're gonna find a way to keep pushing each other's buttons. I'm having fun. So, but no, Absolute Batman, I'm very curious by. The other two, we'll see what happens. The Joker one's gonna be an anime.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that's gonna work.
I didn't like the Joker movie with.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I liked it. I did not see the second one. I feel glad that I didn't. But and this we could tie this into Marvel and DC because there's always this question of why and should they. And sometimes, like with the Joker movie, you first hear of it and you go, Joaquin Phoenix is a Joker, maybe. Because we've doubted other actors like Heath Ledger and
Right.
certain other ones. Like that's just how it goes. Remember, a lot of people didn't like Michael Keaton as Batman at first, and now he's like one of the most iconic Batman.
I always liked him as Batman.
Well, a lot of people didn't because all they saw was Beetlejuice. So like, and this is before the internet. So imagine him during the internet age. I know the Flash movie doesn't count, but you think, okay, maybe. And then you hear about the accolades and like, is it really that good? Like it won the Cannes Film Festival or whatever. And then you watch it and I know you didn't like it, but like it resonated with me in a certain way. And then you're like, oh, it's nominated for Oscars and it got $1 billion somehow. And you're like, okay, I guess they were right.
That's why they do it.
That's
for
why
the
they tell
billionaire.
you do have to take the chance sometimes, as long as you feel that you have the way to back it up. Then they did the sequel, which like completely lost the plot. Like, okay. So, but then other times you look at these things and you're like, why in the world are they doing that? And that starts the perfect segue into the first true segment of Marvel versus DC today. That's their TV programming, because we only lightly got to touch on this last time. Because in many ways, if you look at the Arrowverse and the Disney Plus shows for the MCU, you really get a sense of one being cohesive and the other being scattershot. Doesn't that sound familiar? But in reverse this time.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I know that the DCU has TV shows. I'm not going to talk about them. Do you know why? Because one of them is one of the worst animated series I've ever seen, despite how good it looked visually. Screw you, Creature Commandos. Just like it was so bad. It was so bad. No, I will not. I would deny. I deny that.
You have failed me for the last time.
It was bad, but I'll send you my review link so you can see exactly why I didn't like it. But with the Arrowverse, like they started small. They started with Arrow, already going off and like this is where you want to start because he's not one of the main ones. He's really only popular via Justice League Unlimited and certain other things. They crushed it. especially after season 2. And then they're like, okay, let's expand it. So what they do, they bring in Flash, they bring in Supergirl, they start Legends of Tomorrow, and then they slowly build up from there. And even after what all the crap that happened with Crisis of Infinite Earths afterward, not the event, what happened afterward, you still look back at the Arrowverse and go, that was something special. I literally just got to meet Katie Lotz the other weekend, and we're like, I miss it. And she goes, yeah, I do too. And they should totally still have it because of the multiverse. And then, so you're thinking like, that's the blueprint. That's the blueprint for how to do this thing. And then you look at the Disney Plus series that are supposed to be like just as important as the movies, watch it so you can know everything. And if you
They dropped the ball.
not just that, but it's the quality isn't just varying. It is so divisive that most people can't agree on what's good and what's not. Like I'll give you the start off with the 2 ones that most people I've talked to like, but there's always caveats. So the first one was of course WandaVision, which was unique, which tied directly into Multiverse of Madness. Didn't like that either. Okay, that one was mid. Okay, that wasn't bad per se, but it did not live up to the potential. But like it ties directly into Multiverse of Madness. You need to watch this. Like it started off so good, and then they had the most generic ending, and like everyone will say that. Like the sitcom idea, how it tied into Wanda's backstory, the use of Vision and everything. Cat was back. That was hilarious. All of it was good, and then that ending just like ruined it. It's like, how'd that happen? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked that one.
Yeah, I did too.
I really did. I mean, it felt like a blockbuster in TV form, and that's how they advertised it. And then you get into some of the other ones, and you're like, like Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye was okay.
Yeah, but that's saying okay. Like you could live without it. And what did that really add outside of forcing the Kingpin into the MCU in the most wrong way possible? Look, I'm not going to get on a soapbox here, but the Netflix series I'm about to. The Netflix series, as we talked about, I think briefly last week, were magnificent. Seasons 1 and 3, especially of Daredevil, were incredible, and they had the Kingpin a certain way. And then fans have been wanting them to come back. And then they tease Matt Murdock in No Way Home. And they're like, hey, let's find a way to get Kingpin in here. And then they have him enter via Hawkeye, which makes no sense. And then, he's tied to Echo, which makes no sense. And then he gets owned by Kate Bishop in like the easiest fight ever. I'm like, how? Matt Murdock has freaking superpowers, and he struggled with Kingpin for 3 straight seasons. And you're telling me that Kate Bishop could win? Like, and I know, and God bless Vincent D'Onofrio for trying to make it work in like an interviews afterward. But I'm like, no. And then even Born Again proved that fight with Kate Bishop just made no gosh dang sense.
Well,
What? He got owned by Kate Bishop.
He got owned by Trick Arrows.
No, not even that. Like, if I remember that fight, it was the Trick Arrows were not
Trick
as much of a...
and she did a little thing with the cufflink and...
No.
I liked it.
Like, Bullseye couldn't even beat him, and I'm supposed to beat a young Kate Bishop could beat him. Like, no, I don't think so. And then you had, like, Moon Knight, which I actually liked overall, but where has he been since? Exactly. And they ended on a cliffhanger, and then didn't do season 2. Miss Marvel, all right? I will swear up and down that Iman Vellani is one of the greatest castings they have ever done. She is a treasure.
Yes, a national treasure.
Her series failed her. All right, she gave it all, and then they had 6 issues of rush plot after rush plot after rush plot, and whatever the heck Damage Control was. Hey, we're gonna blow up this kid's apartment and show no repercussions for this.
Yes.
Like, what was that? They literally introduced the clandestine in one episode and saying, "Hey, we have time to go do this." The next episode, we're out of time. Go kidnap her. I'm like, what? Yeah, and then. Like the Marvels, the movie, like they weren't able to capitalize on the momentum that they had, even though again, Iman Vellani, she's so good. And I felt horrible. And the biggest problem with this is that Disney took the cheap way out, which I know what you're thinking, but the production values were high. Yes, but the episode count was low.
Yes.
The best thing about the Arrowverse, which I'll admit was sometimes a hindrance depending on the show and how it was played, they had full seasons.
They had full seasons, and they were able to flesh out and drag out the story more.
Yeah. like even with Legends of Tomorrow, which was sometimes wildly inconsistent, especially with the later seasons, which were they still had 13 plus episodes, which was like Daredevil numbers to flesh it out. Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Superman, Lois always had lower count, but like they had like 20-ish episodes to flesh things out, and then that allowed us to see more of the universe, get more of the characters, build upon things each season, so that by the time we got to the season finale, we knew something was special.
Yes.
Whereas with the DC TV, or sorry, the Disney Plus shows, it was here's your episodes, deal with it.
Yeah. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, and that can work if handled properly. But it's rarely handled properly with DC TV outside of very specific shows like or like Falcon Winter Soldier, which was only 6 episodes, but they played it that way. They made sure that it was long enough for each episode to do well, but they had a short enough story to tell. So that worked. But then other shows, they don't do it. And then when they did Daredevil Born Again, it was supposed to actually be a 22-episode show. They had the whole behind-the-scenes drama because they screwed up royally. And see Secret Invasion. I dare you to say you like Secret Invasion. I dare.
I won't.
Good. I will not play the fail me button. I want to, but like, there you go. Secret Invasion. Like, people are still bitter about that. Like, they're still royally bitter, and that's why DC. Or sorry, it's so easy to say Disney and DC together. That's why Disney had to do a complete overhaul of their TV division, which led to Born Again coming back in a different way. But even then. First season, 9 episodes. Second season, 8 episodes. Go longer. I'm legitimate. I had just finished my binge of the Netflix Daredevil series again, just to refresh on how much I loved it. As if by fate, I talked with Steven DeKnight, the showrunner for the series, and he was just on Twitter talking about something Daredevil related, and I noted it was about episode links. It was legitimate about episode links. And I said, hey, Mr. DeKnight, just wanted to say I rewatched the Netflix Daredevil series. It was amazing. And having the 13 episodes was the perfect number to flesh everything out. And he replied, exactly. If we didn't do the 13 episodes, we wouldn't have had time to do the Wilson Fisk backstory episode or the flashback with Matt and Foggy at college. And I replied, we absolutely had to have that because A, we learned more about Wilson, and B, we wouldn't have gotten avocados at law.
Yes.
Avocados at law. But yeah, let's kill Foggy in the first episode of Born Again. Great job, Disney. And then that led to the other strange thing, which still happens, honestly, where it's like, hey, we have this. Let's do this spinoff. Remember
it's
Echo?
all about the money.
But it's not even that. Like, they're not even making good decisions about trying to make the money. Like, remember Echo? No, you don't. Remember Werewolf by Midnight? Some of you might. They keep doing these weird spin-offs like, hey, let's focus on the most niche character that no one's really cared about because we think it's going to be awesome. And again, like with Joker, that can work, but Joker had clout beforehand. Plus, Joaquin Phoenix is a respected actor despite certain, how do I put this gently, mental inconsistencies. let's put it that way. But it's not that I want them to fail. Like, again, I think Ms. Marvel could have been one of the best series ever because of Iman Vellani alone if she had double the episodes. But DC can't get Disney can't get that in their heads. And DC is no exception to this. Later in the Arrowverse series, they had one dud after another with the Arrowverse. Like Naomi, do you remember that? No, you don't. Because they, much like with Absolute Batman, they tried to take a popular comic series, tell it into TV form, even though the comic series had 5 issues.
Right.
Like, hey, we're going to completely flesh this out, except you didn't. You made it worse. And then you ended on a cliffhanger that made no gosh dang sense. I hated writing reviews for that. I worked for a site. I used to review the entire Arrowverse top to bottom. And they kept making one bad decision after another after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I won't even go into all of them because I'm still bitter about some of them. But they just kept making one stupid decision after another. Then they tried to auto-correct. It's like, no, this was the plan the whole time. No, it wasn't. Stop lying to us. And then even with Superman and Lois, which was fantastic on production value, on fleshing out the Superman lore, the season 3 storyline with Lois Lane's cancer was, I felt Emmy worthy. I really do. But 4th season was so rushed.
Yes.
And it made no sense at the ending. And then they did the he dies spoiler. ending, and I'm like, oh, fine, give me a tearjerker to end things. That was a nice touch. I liked it. I did, but I was just like, why? Superman, well, how have I never had a dog? I don't know, Superman. Have you never had a dog? But the point here is that, especially with the TV stuff, the blueprint was there. It was Arrowverse, and you'd think they would learn to grow that both sides in a meaningful way and keep the consistency. But they just kept doing things wrong on both sides of the equation. And that's why the Arrowverse died. The CW ditched it, but the CW also sold out in numerous other ways I don't have time to get in touch with. And then Disney Plus TV, you either like it or you really don't care.
Yeah.
And we even saw that with what happened with Mandalorian and Grogu, just an offshoot, because 3 seasons of the show, I thought they were great. Book of Boba Fett was decent. Ahsoka, decent. And then hey, let's throw this on the big screen because everybody will like it. Will they though?
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a reason there wasn't an Arrowverse movie. I'm very curious how that would have gone. I won't lie. But
Well, to me, it's just the price of movies. The price of going to a movie.
it's also a question of why didn't you just do season 4?
Yeah.
You know, and that was a major thing I heard was that I liked it. Could have just been 4 seasons, and then that would have fleshed it out even more. But guess not.
Yeah.
And now people are gonna be questioning, well, is Star Wars doomed? No, it's not. We've been here before. It was more doomed after the sequels after it was now, and then Mandalorian saved it. So how ironic is that? So I don't know. What was your favorite Disney Plus series? And you can't say X-Men.
I'm not going to. I'm going to say She-Hulk.
Oh, I forgot about She-Hulk. Yeah.
She-Hulk was a perfect adaptation from page to screen.
Okay.
I thought this was a She-Hulk comic on the screen. It was beautiful. The fourth wall breaking and everything. I thought it was great. I liked it. And Todd's giving me the face.
No, actually, I actually agree with you. So here's the thing. I liked She-Hulk. I did not think it was the best thing ever.
No.
I thought it was overhated. I thought the ending was too chaotic. And then they're like, hey, I need Matt Murdock because I have needs. I'm like, okay. I liked parts of what it was doing. It definitely was a faithful adaptation overall. I wish there was more law stuff because she's a lawyer. I think that they could have done certain things a little differently, but I liked it. I think I gave a 3.5 in my review because I did like it. And I can't say her name. Tatiana Maslany.
Yes.
She was great as Jennifer Walters. She was amazing. I liked most of the rest of the cast. I did like the fourth wall breaking. One of my favorite ones is that they're doing the episode where her coworker, who's alpha male idiot, is on trial, and they're at the restaurant, and she's off camera, and then the side character says something. She goes, tying the A and B thoughts together, awesome. And that's clever. That's clever to me as a writer. So, but no, She-Hulk was fun. I think it was one of the cases where season 2 could have been even better because they had laid down the blueprint, but we never got that. We didn't get that with Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't need it because they obviously did the movie. Echo is not getting one, obviously, but it's sad because they're like, hey, we're throwing these out there. Hawkeye didn't get season 2. Hey, we're throwing these out there, and it's great. What are you doing with them? Nothing. We just wanted to throw it out there. I'm like, really?
Yeah. We blew through one break already, so let's take
I
the
was
next
about
one.
to say, I've been waiting for the signal to do, but this is podcast live, everybody. So let's go to break and we'll come back to talk
Todd
about.
likes to talk, so
You didn't stop me.
that's true. You're on a roll.
Thank you.
All right.
So unlike Disney Plus TV, or me saying Disney Plus TV. Anyway, we'll be back after this break. Welcome back. And I say that because we've been gone for 20 minutes. You just couldn't tell. We had to make up for the last break we missed, apparently, because Dave didn't give me the signal. So
I didn't.
yeah.
My fault. My bad.
Yep.
Anyways,
Anyway.
that's me.
You have failed this city!
And this GoFundMe page, apparently. I dare you to put that up to see how much money you get, and then cancel it right before the funding goes through, just to. I'm curious how much people would pay. That's how low self-esteem I have on myself,
If you
ladies and
want to see
gentlemen.
Todd Black again,
Pay me money. Like, do we though? Do we?
give me a case of Coke.
It's like I'll settle for a pizza, Netflix subscription. Yeah. So continuing with this theme of ours of, I don't want to say it just DC and Marvel got wrong, but it is an interesting thing to talk about. Let's talk video games.
Okay.
Because this is another fascinating one. Because with the video game market, you think that DC Marvel would dominate. And in certain ways they have. And in certain ways they have not. For example, do you know how many Lego superhero games are?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of them.
I did not know. I did not realize until I was working for a certain gaming website where I had to talk about the Lego Batman titles, just how many there were. There's been at least, just Lego Batman, there's been at least 4. Then there's the Lego DC Heroes, which have been 3. They just released Lego Batman Legend of the Dark Knight, which is supposed to encapsulate everything in his history, which is bold, I'm not going to lie. So just the Lego titles are substantial. Then Marvel had at least 2, I feel. So money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind. And of course, there was a Lego Batman movie, which was a big hit. I remember that. Will Arnett as Batman. Okay, why not? Money. It worked. Surprised that one didn't get a sequel, but maybe they learned after Lego Movie 2. Like,
Yes.
That's one of those weird anomalies where you're like, the first one did magnificent. Surely the second one will do just as well.
No.
And it wasn't about quality. It was just people didn't really see it. Like, maybe they just got tired of Chris Pratt. I know, I have. I'm waiting for him to get cast in the DCU, and I'll be like, that's it, I'm done, James Gunn. I was already done before, but like now you're casting Chris Pratt as something. I will never forgive him for being Mario. So there you go. There's your next lower third for me. Has continuing his eternal feud with Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Okay. But video games were interesting because if you really look at the successful ones and the ones that people fondly remember, they're few and far between. Because superhero games for the longest time were like slop. They were either movie slop, like the always terrible, hey, we're going to make a video game based on this movie that just came out, or they just attempted something to see if it works, and then it like usually didn't. But then in the contrast, you have Marvel versus Capcom, which is like one of the greatest things ever. Like, and it was started with Street Fighter versus X-Men, which moved into MVC. We don't talk about Infinite. Bringing all the references in today. But then a game came Batman Arkham Asylum, like one of the all-time great titles. And Arkham City did amazing. Then Arkham Knight did not. How do you screw this up? They had, I don't know if you remember this, they had Paul Dini, the literal writer of Batman animated series, on the first 2 games. They did not bring him back in on the third, and then everything went to hell.
Yes.
And then as if things couldn't get any worse, then they go, hey, let's make a Suicide Squad game. And Warner Brothers Discovery went, hey, why don't you make it one full of microtransactions? Let's make it a live service game. What could possibly go wrong? Everything went wrong. I will never forget that launch because not only did it launch poorly, freaking Amazon, gave it away for free 2 weeks later.
I remember that.
I couldn't believe it. I was writing about Amazon Prime deals and everything, and they have a video game section where you get certain games for free if you have a Prime membership or a Prime Gaming membership. I can't remember which. And Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League was there like 2 weeks later as a free title. I'm like, that's how bad you
didn't see
up.
that with Spider-Man games.
Well, certain Spider-Man games, like most people fondly remember the PS2 Spider-Man 2 game because apparently that was amazing.
It was.
I don't remember that one. I don't think I had that one. I remember getting Ultimate Spider-Man on the GameCube. That was fun, but it was quick. And then, of course, Insomniac came in with their Spider-Man title, which blew everyone's minds because it was basically Spider-Man Arkham. And it was original story, crisp graphics, Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, who almost didn't get cast because he was too old. Like, dude, if you can voice the character, it doesn't matter your age. Ageism exists in the voice acting space, trust me. But like,
Todd would know.
Yeah, I would. I I'm a voice actor. Wow. But like that one was legendary, and like there's a literal debate about which is better, Arkham City or Insomniac Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man 2 came out after years of waiting, and it was like like it was fine, but didn't really deliver. And again, you think you have the blueprint. How do you screw this up? And now we're like 2 or 3 months away from a Wolverine game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very curious how that one's gonna go because the story is completely unique. Like they even have made it clear that Wolverine is part of a team, but not the X-Men. And Jean Grey is there, but it's not really clear why. They're gonna try and force the love interest thing again. Like, stop it, her and Cyclops forever. And then you can team up with Sabretooth and Mystique and certain other ones. And the humans are the bad guys, obviously.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we suck.
So yeah, we do. But I'm interested in that, but I'm also curious how well it's going to do, especially after what happened with Spider-Man. So, and then there's rumors about what Insomniac's doing afterward, because there was supposed to be a whole Venom spin-off game, but that got scrapped, especially with the loss of Tony Todd. Rest in peace. No relation. I always make that joke. Like, first or last name Todd, I'm like, no relation. It's just funny. But I'm surprised there's not more. And then of course there's one of the most legendary fails in the history of video games, Superman 64. Yes. I played that game, and even I remember at a young age the bugs that were in it. Mm-hmm. Let me set the stage. So I start the game. I go to like continue, and it goes, okay, here's your level. I go, okay. So I fail to beat the game. They put me back on the main screen. They say continue. I hit continue. All of a sudden, I have like 20 levels accessible to me. That's not right. I wasn't that deep. I could even skip all the way to the end of the game. Like, that's how buggy this thing was. There has never been an actual good Superman game, which is odd because you think someone would figure it out. There was even rumors for a while about Rocksteady, who the team behind Batman Arkham, doing a Superman title, and then that never came to pass.
Well, somebody did just created with the Unreal Engine a Superman game where he's just flying around.
Yeah.
But that was supposed to lead to something, and they never followed up on it.
It's sad. And I understand, but like the whole, but Superman's unstoppable, and he is. But he's like that. But that's the thing. That's your challenge, is to figure out a way to make him less, or either less powerful, or make it realistic that all these villains would be challenging him, and that's the fun of it. All right, so you could have something where it's like Darkseid, and of course, like Darkseid has the new gods where they're on Superman's level to a certain extent, so that's believable. Or you could have it to where there's a red sun going on, and Superman's constantly getting weakened, so that levels the playing field. It's your job as the game studio to have fun with this and to create something special. There was supposed to be a Wonder Woman game made by Monolith, who did the Lord of the Rings titles. And that got canceled, which sucks because I was hearing great things, including Gail Simone was on it. Gail Simone was working on it. And she's like, I am so sad this got canceled. And it was canceled because of corporate bullcrap. And that's arguably the biggest problem with Marvel and DC at times, is that the potential is there. The demand is there. And then they'll do this corporate stuff like they did with Suicide Squad, like they did with Wonder Woman, like what happened with Spider-Man 2 and certain other titles. And it's like, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things, ladies and gentlemen. And we will elaborate that after we come back from break. Welcome back. Still being held against my will, somehow. Don't know how, but, you know, doesn't that mean that we're in the Matrix? Yeah, that's the longest graphic we have. We might trim that later. It felt appropriate, though, and then it just kept going and going, just like the Matrix.
What is a 10-second graphic? It's supposed to be like, me coding something. And
Okay.
So, hi, I'm Dave. I'm the IT guy.
You see it, guy.
And the sole beneficiary of the GoFundMe page. Again, I'll take a box of donuts for
Now he's mocking me because I just mentioned I wanted donuts earlier. I have needs, Dave, just like She-Hulk. I have needs.
So you need a smash Matt Warlock one.
Ouch. Yeah. Notice the difference in our needs. Like She-Hulk has standards. She needs Matt Murdock. I just need donuts or pizza. I'll sell it for pizza. Supreme from Casey's. Yeah, there's your plug. We are not sponsored by Casey's, but I wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind that. All right. So we've been talking a lot this episode about how DC and Marvel have super highs and super lows, pun intended. Well, hold on. So not my best, but it just bit. But I think we really also, if we're gonna talk about the lowest of the lows with video games, we've got to talk about the lowest of the lows with the movies. Because both DC and Marvel have had epic bombs and ones that were like, why do we still have to think about this movie? So Dave, what in your opinion, DC or Marvel, I won't, no side that needs to be chosen here, is your biggest favorite bomb to talk about?
Favorite bomb would be. This was a TV movie.
I'll take it.
DC.
Okay.
It was the Justice League TV movie with the 60s Batman.
Oh, I remember
Adam
those.
West.
I remember
And
those.
he was in that movie, and it was just a terrible movie. They used Lex Luthor was the main bad guy, and at the end of it, they stopped the bomb or whatever by lifting Lex Luthor's bald head up and hitting the switch or something. It was dumb, but it was a terrible movie. And young me was excited because, I liked the Batman show, and Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin in the movie in the Justice League. It was great.
No. Well, I remember the Justice League TV specials, but I forgot they did a movie as well, like TV movie, I suppose.
And the Batman movie with Adam West was good.
Yeah, it was iconic. He's like, there's just no place to dump a bomb. Great Scott. And then I think the most accurate thing about the Batman 66 movie was the ending where all the diplomats were turned into vials or whatever, and then they returned back and they just were debating endlessly about politics, and Batman's like, we have to let things take time, and then they leave. Let's leave quietly. Robin's like, yeah, that's accurate because they just return to stuff. Nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets done. But I remember Batman 66. I was actually a surprise birthday gift for my mom one year. Mm-hmm. She got me the entire DVD collection of Batman 66, and I watched it all within a week or two. And some of it incredibly holds up. Some of it does not.
No. But it's supposed to be corny.
No, but not just corny. There's a difference between corny and misogyny. I'll talk about this. Easily a low point for that series was the final season. They brought in Batgirl. Yvonne Craig, right?
Yes,
Yvonne Craig, and they did an episode where the mayor's wife basically was co-opted by this female villain, and I can't remember her name. It's not important, but she basically gets all the women in Gotham to rebel against the men, which you think is a simple enough plot, except they do it in the most misogynistic way possible, where the men can't do anything without the women. They can't cook, they can't clean, they can't do anything. And then the women take all their jobs, and then the women can't do the jobs because women are incapable. They can't be cops because they're easily distracted. They can't do other things because it's inefficient for them.
These aren't Todd's opinions. He's just
no. I'm literally recounting the episode. I swear. Trust me. Women can do everything a man can do,
and better,
and better, and better. Trust me. In fact, ladies, if you want to take over the podcast, I mean, I do stay there. I do want to continue hosting, despite being held against my will, Dave. But and then the climax of that one was a bunch of robot mice, swarm the city, and of course, every woman except for Batgirl is affected. Really? It was not the best. But Batgirl herself was great, but not that episode. But yeah, I can see those ones were that. I can remember those TV specials. And then if you go to Marvel, I remember they did the TV movie with a Hulk meeting Thor.
Actually, I like that one. I like that one.
You're one of the few.
Yeah.
I remember some people were like, really, they did that version of Thor?
I'm looking for a man. You're in luck, because I am a man. And he drinks his beer.
Yeah. another. No. Oh, wrong Thor. But no, there were a lot of, especially in that era, the hokey ones. Then Blade came in and showed, no, you can make it cool.
Right.
And that's what helped jumpstart more Marvel movies in general than even more Batman and other Superman movies, because like, hey, we can do this better. But then you have, like Superman Quest for Peace. Yeah. I saw a clip from that yesterday. I'm just like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
And I know Christopher Reeves did it as like there was some charity reason he did it. I don't remember. But it was just like, no. Superman Returns. Like I like
that one.
I was excited to see that movie, and then I was just like, no. Okay. I'm gonna say a line. I know in context it's bad, but in the context of the movie, it does make sense. Kevin Spacey was good.
Yes.
He was a good Lex Luthor. He was
Lex Luthor.
intimidating, and I like that. Now, of course, not so much.
Yeah,
but
no.
in the context of the movie, he was a good villain. Brandon Routh was fine as Batman. I didn't mind him, but I felt it was just they were trying
Superman.
What did I say?
You said Batman.
I apologize. I was like, we were talking about Batman earlier, but as Superman, wink, he was good. I thought, ironically, he was better in Arrowverse.
Yes.
As both the Atom and then Superman, like Kingdom
Come Superman.
Kingdom Come Superman. That was great. I loved how they handled him there in the multiple roles. Thank you, Brandon. But it was like fine. But it wasn't like, for all the hype I'd heard about the Donner movies, which I had only seen the first two, thank goodness, at the time, it just didn't speak to me. Man of Steel spoke to me. Like, I really, really loved Man of Steel, and felt it should have gotten a sequel. And then on Marvel, like before the MCU, they were throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. Ang Lee's Hulk, which I liked, but I don't feel I should have.
Well, yeah, again, that was just comic to screen.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of a continuing. That was just to get the Hulk on the screen and make it look good.
Yeah, it was fine for what it was, but yeah, Ang Lee did better later on. Then Daredevil with Ben Affleck. Okay, so this is one where I'm like, I liked it. I saw it multiple times in theaters. I did not feel bad. The only time I felt bad about it was when I saw an extended version, something like FX, where they added in the deleted season. I'm like, yeah, I can see why those were deleted. Like that was unnecessary. They made Happy even more of an idiot, and I'm like, no, that was Foggy. He was playing Foggy, but come on, John, you should know better. But I liked the casting. I liked Ben Affleck as Daredevil. I liked Jennifer Garner as Elektra. Colin Farrell was really funny as Bullseye. He was great. They had some really good fight scenes. Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace, as the Kingpin. I felt that they were, like you said, comic to screen, trying to bring certain moments to life. Did they go too far at certain points? Sure. But other points, I'm like, no, that was actually pretty good. And then I found out it bombed. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, that was when I was really young.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life. I heard that song way too much in that period because and that movie helped because they did the big, like, everyone suiting up scene to Bring Me to Life. And then I started hearing it everywhere. I even heard it in church. I know. I couldn't believe it either. It was for one of the high school group things. But I liked that movie. I thought it was fine. But then you see some of the other movies, and I'm like, no. No. Blade Trinity. Like, they had two great Blade movies, and like, hey, let's make another one. And no, like, stop while you're behind. Or stop while you're ahead. That one wasn't Guillermo, was it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. That's probably why it sucked because, okay, if we're gonna talk about bombs, let's talk about the bombs that they did not make. How do you screw up a Blade movie in the MCU? All right, like, well, we'll talk about that as they come back from break.
You can push the button this
I
time.
will push the button this time. Where is it? There it is. Here we go. Hello there. I am Todd. Once again, being held against my will. Just give Dave his donuts or pizza or something so I can go home. All right? I'm already having a day. I don't need more ransoming. Just go to the GoFundMe page.
Again, $1.50,
$1.50,
whatever.
Yeah. Send him enough money to go get a movie ticket for whatever he wants to go see next.
I'll take an AMC subscription.
There you go. what was that AMC Plus thing, or it's like you
My
can
son
go-
had that.
Yeah, where you get to like see 3 movies a week. I remember someone telling me like, well, who wants to go see 3 movies a week? Well, if it's a good movie, you're gonna want to see it multiple times. Aquaman. I remember seeing Aquaman 3 times in the week. Tron Legacy, a little underrated, but very underrated in my opinion. That's another thing we're going to talk about one day is we're going to talk about things that haven't been adapted into comics that we want to. I absolutely want to write a Tron series. I think Tron in the comics would look so cool, especially get the right artist and the right storyline. Just speaks to
If only you knew comic book author and artist.
I know multiple, but that's not the point. It's not about that. It's about who has the licensing. And licensing is a whole other
All right,
deal.
you're
Like
right.
it really is complicated. A friend of mine, Heather Onto, shout out to Heather. She was actually talking about this on Twitter recently, and it's fascinating who owns what licenses and who's not using them. Like Marvel has multiple licenses. Marvel and Marvel Disney have multiple licenses that are owned by like Dynamite and Image, and they're making them instead of Marvel, which you think would be wrong, but it's who owns the licenses. So it's a huge market. There's even a place called Licensing Expo in Las Vegas where you can talk to people about getting licenses, and I'm like, okay, can I go there and get the Tron license? Get it away from Jared Leto. Oh, if we're gonna talk about we will get back to Blade, I promise, but let's talk about Morbius.
I haven't seen it.
Good.
I know it's on Netflix, but I just haven't seen it.
It's Morbin time. Oh my God. I knew that was gonna bomb, but like,
Yeah, well, you know, it's
Sony.
It's the Sony trying to spin off Spider-Man without actually using Spider-Man. There's no point to that.
and that's another thing of the licenses we were just talking about. Marvel sold the license to Spider-Man to Sony during their dark days in the late 1990s. Look it up. It's true. That's why Fox had a bunch of things like X-Men, Daredevil, Ghost Rider. And Sony agreed to a partnership with Marvel Disney when Civil War was getting made. So that's how Spider-Man finally came to the MCU. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to. But they still hold the license, and thus that's why they are able to do Into the Spider-Verse, which is awesome, and the other spin-off films like Venom, Morbius, Madam Web, which were not. I maintain that all the Venom films were terrible. I don't know how the first one did so well at the box office. Apparently, it's one of those, it's so good, it's bad, or it's so bad, it's good kind of thing. I don't know. I don't get it. I watched it with my dad, and I'm like, that was terrible. And he goes, really? I thought that was actually pretty good, Todd. And my dad has a low tolerance at times, I will not deny, but other times his opinion is spot on. I'm like, you liked Venom? Really, Dad? He's like, you float around like a turd in the wind. Like,
No.
yeah, no. Like, I will give Tom Hardy credit for trying. He tried so hard. It's just, no. He was so much better as Bane.
Yes, he was.
Of course. You think the darkness is your ally. By the time I saw the light, I was already a man. Yes.
Thank you. Voice actor. Trying to be. But no, let's go back to Blade. Because this is one of those things where, how do you screw that up? I've heard so many reports. I gotta go solo on this. I've heard so many reports about Blade with Mashahara Ali. And when he was announced it, I was like, boom, perfect casting. When you see perfect casting, you know, DC, Marvel, it doesn't matter. You know, you're like, hey, we're doing Blade with Mashahara Ali. This is like fresh off his Oscar win in the Green Book and all the other great performances. He's done a look at Luke Cage on Disney Plus. He was great as Cottonmouth. Everyone agrees the season one went off the rails when he died. He was just that good. But they're like, hey, we're gonna bring him in. He's gonna be Blade. Nothing since. And all the reports are we can't find the right script. Like we keep losing writers and directors. Even Ali's agent didn't know what was going on at one point. And the biggest report that blew my mind was Kevin Feige, or Feige, however you say his name. How do you say it? Is
It's
it Feige?
Feige.
That's what I thought. I look at it say Feige though. It feels right, but I digress. It was Feige himself who said we don't just want a movie of Blade killing vampires.
But that's what Blade
That's what he is. Like say that to the camera.
That's what Blade is about.
Yes, he's the vampire hunter.
Yes, he's the Daywalker.
Yeah, he's the Daywalker, and yes, he did it well before Buffy. Watch Death Battle. I'll talk about that in a second. But Like, that's the whole thing. He's the vampire hunter. This is what he does. Oh, but we don't want him to just do that. Then don't announce a Blade movie. What is wrong with you? And then there was like, and then there was another report that Blade's only going to be the main character in his own movie. Then why are you calling it Blade? Like, it was going to be about his daughter Brielle, who I'm sure many people don't even know he has a daughter. That's more of a recent comics thing. Did you know?
I did not.
You did say? So, like, how do you screw that up? How? And you
It's all right, Todd.
I know it hurts, and I'm not even the biggest Blade fan. I don't think I've even seen the Blade movies, but even I'm like, dude, it's Blade.
Yes.
Like, and as a writer who dreams of working with Marvel and DC one day and on these properties, and I know it's like you're throwing a lot of shade on it. No, I'm just calling it like I see it as a fan. You know, again, just me and Dave's opinions, but how do you screw up Blade? You have a simplistic but meaningful enough story. You have a great vampire villain, and then Blade goes through all types of vampires and monsters to get to that villain, kills them, moves on to the next monster in the sequel. It's not that hard. Guillermo del Toro made one of the best superhero movies ever in the 90s, and it was just about Blade killing vampires. Mm-hmm. Wesley Snipes was Blade. It totally worked. Like, just the opening club scene with the blood and everything. Like, you knew within 2 minutes this is going to be an awesome movie. And it was.
It was. It was a great movie.
Yeah. So, but no, we're too nuanced. Like, people don't want that. No, what people don't want is a bunch of movies with the same plot line. Oh, where the universe is going to be destroyed if this bad guy isn't defeated. Hey, guess what? We all know the bad guy is going to be defeated. The only time that didn't happen was Infinity War. And that was intentional because we knew he'd be defeated in the next one.
Yes.
So it still hurt to see everyone snapped away, but that was beautiful because, comics, comic accurate, another topic we'll be talking a lot in a future episode, but it lent impact. But we knew the whole time that it was Infinity War 1 year, and then next year was Endgame. Like, it wasn't that hard. But now you're saying, oh, we can't do a simplistic Blade movie. That's all you need.
Yes.
And you want to tell me that Masahiro Ali wouldn't have crushed it in like combat scenes and everything and delivering the gravitas as Blade in a way that was different than Wesley Snipes? He absolutely would have. Do better, Marvel. Or hire me. I'm just saying, like, I'm available for hire. So we're going to do one last break and then we're going to...
No, that's it.
Oh, this is it?
Yes.
This is the end of the episode?
Yes.
Oh, no. We're going to have to do part 3, aren't we?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Well, to wrap it up then, Marvel vs. DC is an eternal topic. And I mean that in the best of ways. For example, I mentioned my show Death Battle, the internet show. They are, in a few days' time, we're going to do The Sentry versus Superboy Prime. I know! And Marvel vs. DC is one of their best consistent matchups that they love to do because they know that people want to see it. And whether it's movies, or it's television, whether it's video games, whether it's comics, which we still will be talking about, obviously, in the episodes to come. There's always going to be debate. There's always going to be fun. There's always going to be high points and low points. There's always going to be things that we're excited for. There's things that we're not going to be excited for. And the debates will endlessly continue because that's what it is to be a comic book fan at times. To pick a side, to pick a character, to pick a supergroup and say, this one's better, this one's better. You were wrong for feeling this way. The nerd rage debate, as I like to call it. And as long as it's in good, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as long as it's in good fun, like we're having here on this podcast, it's okay to be critical because we are fans. We are allowed to have those opinions. But at other times, we do take it too far. Look at a certain Supergirl movie review. You know who you are. But we love it. We love Marvel. We love DC, and we want them to succeed. So we hope that you feel the same way. We hope that you will keep showing your patronage, however you like to do so with Marvel and DC. See what you want, read what you want, play what you want. And if you don't want to, don't. Mm-hmm. It's literally that simple, Dave.
It is.
So, and with that, we are ending this episode. We thank you for joining us on this 2-parter. Not sure what we'll do next week. I was honestly fully prepared to do a part 3 of Marvel versus DC, but Dave said no.
Let's move on.
Fine. So we'll see you next week. And just remember, we are accurate, ladies and gentlemen. Comically accurate.